My name is Alan K. Rohde. I'm a writer and director of the Film Noir Foundation. And tonight's event here at the Egyptian Theater is a tribute to the late director, actor Joseph Pevney. Joseph Pevney was one of the seminal noir actors and directors. We're showing two of his movies tonight. One that he directed in 1955, Six Bridges to Cross, starring Tony Curtis, George Nader, and Julie Adams. And Miss Adams will be our special guest in between the films. And the second film is Nocturne, made in 1946 by RKO Pictures. I hope you all enjoy it.
I haven't seen this since it was made. I mean, since then, I had forgotten so many things, you know. It was very interesting to see it, and how good Tony was, and George, and
everybody was good. You were good. Everybody
and it was
good.
so well directed, you know.
Yes.
It was just, yeah. Joe Pevney had such a great way of. He was. I love directors that make it seem easy. You know?
And is that what Joe did?
Yes, it seemed, I don't know, you loved going to work with him and all the suggestions, and you felt quite comfortable, you know, and just...
An actor's director.
An actor's director, and also, you know, the scenes, the action scenes were also good. Yeah. So, and I'm very glad to come and see it with all of you. It was really...
Well, we're glad to have you.
It was really
here.
fun,
That's
really
great.
fun.
Now, at the time you made this, you were under contract to Universal, and Joe was a contract director there.
Yes.
Was he pretty hot stuff in those days?
Oh yes, he was very well thought of, and with great reason, as you see.
Right.
And so I was delighted to work with him. It was a real pleasure, especially the scene in the prison,
right.
where we shot in a real prison, and there was an atmosphere there that I've never felt before, and I never really want to feel again. Right where we were shooting a scene, while we were rehearsing, there was an upper stairway, and the men were being marched to their cells, and oh my, you know, it was so...
They did not clear out the prison just
No,
films
no,
that all the
no,
prisoners there.
no, not at all.
Really?
No, it was very powerful and very sad. No, it was, yeah. But no, he was really a lovely director. I'll tell one little anecdote about Away All Boats, which I also had the pleasure of working with him in. And I had one scene where with George Nader, we were married again in that picture.
You and George got around.
That's right, George and I, yes, we were. And he had been away, and he brought home a hula skirt for me.
Right.
So I was supposed to do this kind of hula in the scene. So I had gone to see Charlotte Hunter, who was the dance teacher at Universal. We all could go and get different classes and things and so. So she taught me the hula. And so I was sort of pleased with him. And I was doing the hula, you know, in this scene, and very concentrated on the dance. And Joe came up and said, "Now act it," you know. In other words, I was not playing the character; I was doing the dance, you know. And it was just so right, you know, to put my mind in a whole different place. So anyway.
Right. Well, they always say about the directors maintaining that decorum on the set. Was Joe the type of director that would say something to you in front of somebody else, or would he take you aside and say something to you?
He really. He would speak to you, you know, in the scene, and all with the spirit of just making the work better. So that when you are in that atmosphere, it's really a pleasure, because that's what we actors like to do. We like to make it better. We like to be better and have a better scene. And so it was a pleasure to see it again.
How was it working with Tony? He was really coming into his own then.
He was funny and very charming. He always was, very much as you see him on the screen.
Yeah, he had that roguish character
Exactly.
that really came out.
Exactly. And no, he was a delightful guy, fun guy. And when I run into him today, I mean, I was out at a little restaurant in Beverly Hills one day, and And I was with a girlfriend, we were chatting, and all of a sudden there's this person there saying, "Hi, what?" And it was Tony. And he's very much the same guy that he was all those years ago. And so it was always delightful to see him. And very outgoing, and very charming, and very handsome guy still.
Wonderful. Now, is it true that your acting career, Julie, started with a ad lib in the 3rd grade?
Oh, I got it. You found that story out of
I did my homework, what can I tell you?
Yes, I was in the 3rd grade, and we were doing a production of Hansel and Gretel. And what happened was there was some milk that needed to be spilled, and the milk spilled early. And I ad-libbed and saved the day. And I got this flush of power. And I think that's when the bug bit me, as they said. From the 3rd grade on, that's what I wanted to do. So here we are, and how lovely to be with all of you tonight.
So you basically went after the movie career. It didn't come and seek you. You came to Hollywood, is that correct?
It did not seek me. No, it didn't. No, I came here, and I found a wonderful coach, Florence Enright, who, because I had to lose my southern accent, I was raised in Arkansas. And when I met a talent scout, they said that, and I said, "What accent?" You know? And, so I was studying with Florence Enright, and then I had an agent, and they would try for a while and then get tired if you didn't get a job. And then finally I got a job in a 6-day Western. And we made this movie in 6 days. And then from that I got a job where we made 6 movies in 5 weeks, all Westerns. And I was the girl in all of them. And so that was kind of my story.
This sounds like the work of Robert L. Lippert.
That's right. You got it. You got it. Yes, it was.
Yes. So how did you end up getting the contract with Universal?
Well, I went out to read. My agent got me in to read for Bright Victory. Bright Victory was my first film at Universal. And I went back 3 times to read. The studio at first just wanted, they had somebody under contract already who could play the part. But it all worked out, and then from that, they took up the option for a contract. So
that was the ambiguous 7-year contract with all the options.
Oh yes, absolutely.
They were still doing that even in the 50s, I guess, as the studio system was.
Oh, that's right. It was. I think it was one of the last gasps of the old studio system. So it was wonderful for me because as I said, I came from Arkansas, and so this was not my hometown. And so the studio at that time, as I said, there were classes. If you were doing a Western, they would have a wrangler come out and ride around with you and teach you more things about riding or dance and so on. And you knew everybody in makeup and wardrobe. And so it was a home for me, really.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We had, a couple of weeks ago, I had Richard Erdman here, and he was talking about, somewhat earlier, but he was signed to Warner Brothers in the 40s, and he said, "I really feel sorry for today's actors and actresses that don't have that advantage of being under contract and learning." He said you could learn boxing, you could learn dancing, you were basically trained. He said every once in a while, when it wasn't too much fun, they put you in a movie.
That's absolutely true. Yes, you sort of went from one thing onto another, and it was wonderful to have a home base like that.